Yeah, Silent Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W. Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. Hey. L Boogie with the hot flame, ashtray full of top names, little tree for your membrane. This the 9-hour time frame. I just snatched up a 6-pack, got my hands on a lid pack, whipping up a little batch of snacks. Yeah, man, I think I'm all set. Late night, can't sleep. Go ahead and just tap in. Better grab you a cold one, and we about to get some laughs in. Wild card on the microphone, he'll hit you with a couple flurries. Y'all need to just strap in for some entertainment sports commentary. About to raise the bar. Wild card bar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card bar. We about to raise the bar. Wild card bar.
Yeah. I'm let me see if I remember how to do this. Let's see if I remember how to do this. I'm kidding. Of course I know how to do this, just because I ain't had a show in a minute. Just because I ain't had a show in a minute, I still got 434 episodes on how to do this. What's happening? I know. Long time, no see, this time of the hour, this time of night, with your boy, Wildcard Mar. But I'm back. All right. I had enough people inbox me, message me, say, hey man, come on, man, bring the late show back. Bring it back. I was like, oh man, come on, man. I don't know if I'm ready to bring it back. And I like this hiatus. You know, it's time to bring it back. It was time. It was time to bring the late night show back because, baby, this sports talk world is getting crazy. People are acting crazy. All right, it's been a minute since we had a conversation, but hey, man, let's talk about it. All right, you know, let's talk about it. All right, let's talk about real quick about this whole Stephen A. and LeBron situation. Now, I'm kidding. We ain't gonna talk about that mess. It ain't sports related. It ain't sports. Them fools ain't talking no sports. They over there got ego driven. They are. Yeah, we ain't talking about that tonight. But I am gonna talk about something that I told y'all. I'm gonna talk about how Deion Prime Time, Coach Prime, Coach Sanders just became one of the highest paid coaches in all of NCAA. All right. I love the fact that it was a lot of haters. Oh, Prime can't do it. You know, it was all cool when you was coaching your little sons and whatnot in high school. It was cute. You went to that little historically black college in Mississippi, went down to Jackson State. It was cute. Now you can't go to Colorado and have no success, pimp. You can't have no success. So the man take over a 1-win team, flips it, changes it, dealt with a lot of hate, a lot of vitriol, a lot of bad stuff thrown his way. The man went into the transfer portal. Hey, what's the best way to quickly change a program in college football? That's right. That's the point of the transfer portal right now. NIL. You know, as you see coaches like Nick Saban walk away from the game of college football, Prime has embraced the NIL part of college football. You know, the thing that driven Nick Saban away. He's like, man, it's about the check now. Yeah, of course. That's the name of the game. You got the biggest check to sign the best athletes. That's the name of the game in college football nowadays. All right, that's just what it is. And I think Nick Saban walked away from the game because he's like, well, hell, that was almost my calling card to have the advantage over everybody, as I was able to out recruit everybody. Well, he can't do that no more. You see him step away from the game. But Prime, who has literally embraced this whole NIL, I guess, platform of college football, I think he's going to succeed in it, because the fact of the matter is he's also thinking like a recruiter in how can I attract the youth? How can I get the youth to buy in? He's relatable, all right? He's relatable as hell. Say what you want, but the hip-hop culture is widespread amongst everywhere, and it's in sports as well. Primetime was a big part of hip-hop culture. I'm talking about from when he was coming up at Florida State through the pros. That man's been part of hip-hop culture. That's relatable to a lot of these young kids. The social media thing. He was one of the first coaches to put the hashtag handles, your social media handles on the back of your practice jerseys. So when they doing the filming of the practice of Colorado, or this was back when he's at Jackson State, you see the social media handles of the players on the back of the jerseys. So you go in, type in their social media handle, and then poop, pop up. That's what Prime is doing. Prime is, he quote unquote thinking outside the box. So I wasn't surprised that, hey, after 2 years, Colorado said, hey, man, I saw that boost in money that you did in Jackson State, and you did it here in Boulder. I see that we selling out tickets every year. I see that all our home games is jam-packed. Our crowds are getting bigger on the road. Colorado is a thing. You go from 4 wins Prime's first year to, I think, 9 or 10 this last year and his second year. So the talk that, quote-unquote, the arrogance that people thought he was talking about, like, man, he's so arrogant, he don't know how to coach. Okay, well, proof is in the pudding. How does a 1-win franchise or program go from 2 years ago from 1 win to a bowl game in 2 years? All right. Yeah, because Prime is running it like a franchise, because let's call it what it is. NIL is free agency, and he's being a good recruiter. And obviously the proof is in the pudding when it comes to the football part. The team is getting better, and it has to get better. Has anybody looked at Primetime's coaching staff at Colorado? Yeah, it's a lot of Hall of Famers on that coaching staff. It's a lot of football knowledge on that coaching staff. That's free recruitment. That's easy way to recruit kids. Be like, hey man, I could put you in the best hands. Come on down to Colorado. You be in good hands with Prime. Damn, All-State, you in good hands with Primetime, baby. Come on down to Colorado. So I'm not shocked that this past weekend, Prime became one of the highest paid coaches in college football. He checks all the boxes in today's world of NIL and college football. He can relate to the young kids. He can recruit them. And most of all, he can coach them. He can coach them. All right? And damn it, if you are a young kid, 17, 18 years old, why would you not want to play for Prime? Look at, like I said, look at the coach staff. Look at the coaching staff. But all right, let's see if I still remember how to do this. I know it's been a minute since we, had a late night show, but one of the main reasons why the show is back is because this gentleman right here. Hey, man, I need to give this man a platform, all right? And anytime this man needs a platform to, more than likely, probably for the next 30 minutes, he's definitely damn sure going to roast his New Jersey Giants. Yeah, I call them New Jersey Giants. But no stranger to the show, no stranger to I.O.W. And if you are familiar with our content, as well as the Facebook page, he's a mainstay there. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I had to bring my man back, the one and only. Hey, my man, Randy. What's happening, man?
Hey, what's going on? Just recovering from the Russell Wilson signing. That's where I'm at. That's what's going on in my life right now. How about yours though? How's things going?
Hey, Rand, man, my life is not too bad. Is actually anytime I'm on the right side of 6 feet, it's okay. But I don't know if I can say the same for you because as I know you're happy to be alive, but then when you look at your quarterback situation in Giants land, all right. So Randy, look, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. And I'm not talking about your quarterback situation. I'm talking about the fact that there was a wide receiver that you guys paid this year. All right, it's Mr. Sterling Shepard. I have no problem with you guys paying him.
Darius Slayton.
Oh yeah, Darius Slayton.
Yeah. It's all good.
The name is irregardless right now.
Mhm.
My point that I'm about to get at, and you'll understand why the name of the wide receiver is not even important, is because the money that you paid Darius Slayton, all right, is almost to the equivalent, if not less, than the money that you should have allocated to a running back called Saquon Barkley last year. And I'm looking at that money that you gave Darius Slayton. I said, well, hell, why couldn't you pony up that money a year ago to the right person called Saquon Barkley?
It obviously it looks really bad. It's really stupid. I'm not going to defend it. What I will say though is that given what we knew then and what we know now, the wide receiver market is very different than the running back market. So an average wide receiver 2 getting paid that
Almost
is
20
yeah, it's not that crazy, right? Like, look at how much elite wide receivers who are as good at their positions as Saquon are getting paid, right? Like the Jamar Chases, the Justin Jeffersons, getting paid way more than Saquon gets paid. So, if you're adjusting for inflation and positional value, it's not as bad as it looks, but it is still bad. It is still bad, but I think that's context that's important for that.
Oh yeah, the only reason why I formulated that way is because and I think your points are valid because looking at the wide receiver market, your number 2 wide receivers, even if you got a good solid number 3 wide receiver, he can make $15-16 million a year. So your point financial wise, position wise, I get it, I understand it.
Mm-hmm. Look at T. Higgins. Look how much he just made. And he's their wide receiver, too.
He's number 2. And he's number 2. But I just think not only for football fans and I'm specifically Giants fans, you're looking like, well, hell, I don't care who the money is going to, position wise. I care about name wise who it was going to. It went to Daniel Jones. All right. Yeah. And then got them halfway through the season. All right. It's gone to your defensive line, which is fine. You guys got probably one of the most expensive D lines in the world. But how does that help protect your quarterback? How does that help actually get a quarterback? You know what I'm saying? Like, can Thibodeau, can Brian Burns, can one of these guys throw a slant? I don't know. I don't know of. I don't know.
Yeah. See, I know that we're going to be talking about the draft. And one of the things that I've said to other Giants fans, because obviously there's been a huge debate over Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart, all of that, what the Giants should do with that QB situation, who's going to be available for it. One of the things that I've always said is if you can get a very good rookie quarterback, do it, because rookie contracts are so much cheaper. You have so much more money to build the rest of the team around them. Look out how great of a position the Texans, the Commanders, and the Broncos are all in because they have their quarterback, their guy, and they're still on rookie deals.
No. Look at I mean, you bring up a great point. That's why I think it's important now to make sure you get that position. You got to get it. You got to get it. You got to get it. So obviously, there's a lot of scrutiny about the choice of going Daniel Jones over Saquon. Look, I understand the decision. I understand why they did it. It's not popular by football fans. I understand it because it is the position of the quarterback. I get it.
It's not popular with me.
No.
Yeah.
I know it's not popular with you. It's not popular with a lot of Giants fans. I think where they missed that is that they didn't have the proper tools behind that to make that decision look like it was the right decision. And what I'm saying is if you're going to get rid of Saquon, then you better make sure that Daniel Jones has everything around him that's going to make him look like a viable quarterback. I'm talking about protection. I'm talking about weapons, everything. Like Malik Neighbors wasn't enough. All right. He wasn't enough. All right. You needed a tight end. You needed a left tackle. You needed a right tackle, and you needed a running back. It was just too many things that just did not go offensively that can take away the loss of a Saquon Barkley, and that's why that got magnified.
So, don't mean to cut you off, but to talk about that whole decision, what I said at the time, and I think that almost everyone can agree on this now, is Daniel Jones was the perfect situation to use a tag for. He was the perfect kind of situation where you would use a tag because he was awful except for 1 year, and that happened to be a contract year. So the thing you do in a situation like that is, all right, let's run you back one more time. Let's see if you can do it again. And then that would have given them the money to pay Saquon. They made some other moves in last year's offseason. I mean, letting Xavier McKinney go, huge miss there. I did like us getting Jermaine Illuminor, and that clearly did hit. Up until Andrew Thomas had gotten hurt last season, the O-line was probably the best that I've seen the Giants O-line be since being a fan. But it didn't last long because Andrew Thomas got hurt, and our guard situation is really bad. So I think that had we done the tag, the situation would have looked a lot better. We could have paid Saquon. We could have paid McKinney. We still could have brought in Illuminor. We could have brought in some better guard help to solidify the O-line. I really wanted Will Fries this offseason, and the Vikings ended up taking him. But we may not have needed that if we had more money last offseason. So that's the whole kind of thing, right? Like, I think Joe Shane is really thoughtful when it comes to not overspending, but I think that where he misses is recognizing what is worth spending money on and what isn't. And that was what happened.
Bingo. I think you hit it right on the head. I think that's the best way that you can word that is, it's not the moves you make, is put the money in the right spots. You got to put it in the people that you know are going to produce. And unfortunately, I think we saw enough evidence that Daniel Jones, he's going to need a lot of help to produce. And you just didn't have it. And that's just what it is. So at that point, you was like, well, shit, I guess we got to cut bait with this motherfucker.
I'm so glad we finally got rid of him. It feels like when you leave an abusive partner after years. It's that feeling of I'm finally free. When you get out of jail, it's that feeling of I'm finally free.
That's crazy, dog. That is.
We got maybe we'll end up back in jail based off of what's been going on so far. But right now we're not in jail. We'll see what happens.
Man, but no, crazy. Let's talk about crazy quarterback situation. Obviously, let's start with you guys. Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. I did not have on my bingo card heading to New York. I didn't.
So, the entire time I've been banging the table because, I'm sure you know, there's been a huge debate over Shedeur Sanders. Cam Ward's going to Tennessee. I don't see them passing up on him. Shedeur Sanders is the quarterback that might fall to the Giants. And there's been a huge debate over whether Shedeur Sanders is someone we should be taking in the first. And I've been one of the people banging the table saying, I don't care that you guys are nitpicking all these problems, whatever. I don't care that you don't like his attitude, whatever. We need a quarterback. He's the only other starting caliber quarterback in the draft. Take him. And we'll have a QB on a rookie deal. We can spend money to build around. Do not take an old washed up AARP member and put them on the team for more money. And thank God we didn't get Aaron Rodgers, but we got the next worst thing.
Well,
the next worst thing after that.
You get Russell for way cheaper. So
we did.
You don't have to worry about breaking the bank for him.
Yes. I'm glad that we got a deal for it. But what it tells me that they did this, because if we had done Jameis Winston alone, then that wouldn't really have changed much of anything. He would have been a backup or he would have been a mentor for the rookie. The fact that they took Wilson also tells me that they probably don't think Sanders is going to fall to 3, which makes our situation complicated if it doesn't, right? Because then we're just waiting until next year. And if Russ performs like he did the past 2 years, because on the Broncos, he had that like weird 5-game winning streak that came out of nowhere. And he made it to the playoffs with Pittsburgh, although obviously that was mostly because of the defensive support, but he played well for a handful of games. The worst situation for the Giants could be if Russell Wilson plays well for a handful of games, because that means we're not getting our quarterback this year if Sanders doesn't fall to 3, and that might mean we also don't get him next year. So that's why I was like, just run Jameis Winston and lose almost every game possible if we can't get a quarterback, so we can get one next year. Do not make us like a 7-win team, because that's the worst possible situation for us.
Yeah, you're stuck in the teens and you can't do nothing with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if we don't get a quarterback, I'm hoping that maybe we can trade back and get another first for next year. Maybe use that to get the quarterback. However we do it. But if we don't, Ward or Sanders would be great now. If not, we have to do what we can to secure a quarterback next year.
I'll be honest with you, Randy. I don't see y'all. If anything, I see y'all at 3. Drafting anything that's going to help y'all, not quarterback. Because I'm of the same thought process like you. One, I think Cam is definitely going to Tennessee. I mean, to me, the writing's on the wall. The fact that you got private workouts with him after you just saw his pro day, that's enough I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
He was just at his pro day. What did you need a private workout for? But regardless, that kind of tells me, and I'm talking about immediately after, like not like soon after he just saw his pro day, they asked him to do a private workout. So I already know where that's headed, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Cam Ward. I really do. I love his game. A little bit slower than I thought he was. And so is Shedeur. They're not both like burners. They're not going to be Michael Vicks, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that people really do overblow Sanders' shortcomings. I think there are things to be concerned about, right? But if you look at his profile, and I know that I'm making a very high-end comp here, but strengths are his accuracy, his decision-making, and his ability to work behind a really bad offensive line and play hero ball. His weaknesses are not an insanely strong arm, not a lot of mobility, and has a tendency to take too many sacks. Who does that sound like? If you could think of a quarterback right now that meets both of those strengths and weaknesses, who does that sound like?
Right now? A quarterback?
Yeah.
Man, that sound like damn, off the top.
I'll go ahead. I want to see who you pick.
No, literally, you talking about accuracy, not strong arm, not like. Honestly, he sounds like a Russell Wilson right now.
You could maybe say Russell Wilson, maybe now, because he used to have more mobility than he does now. I was thinking as a high-end comp, as a ceiling, Joe Burrow.
Hey, that's not a bad comp.
It's not a bad comp. It's a ceiling, but those are his strengths and those are his weaknesses. you can make a good quarterback out of that.
And the mobility is not necessarily like it don't need to be Lamar Jackson, and that's what Joe Burrow is not. But his pocket mobility is probably some of the best pocket mobility you got in the NFL. He does it like because if you really look at it, he plays behind one of the worst O-lines in the NFL. He's moving in that pocket.
Mhm.
So it's actually not a bad comp because you look at the same situation that Shador was in Colorado. Hey, in 2 years, he was struggling behind that piss poor offensive line. So
Yeah, and I like that aspect of him, the fact that he has experience behind a bad O-line, so
because
that way,
yeah, what a bad O-line.
yeah, he knows what to do behind it, right? Like he does take a lot of sacks, and that is going to be an issue, especially considering he doesn't have a particularly big frame either.
No.
But he had a tendency to play hero ball, and he did pretty well considering his situation. Better than a lot of quarterbacks would have been able to do. I've seen so many quarterbacks freeze behind an O-line like that, and he didn't.
Not freeze. There's a whole lot of people that wouldn't have survived the season behind those O-lines that Shador was behind.
Mhm.
There's a lot of quarterbacks that probably would have tapped out halfway through the season and said, nah, my hip hurt. Oh, for real, Randy? Bro, we got to be honest about what. So this is probably one of my biggest pet peeves leading into the draft. You get these quote unquote quotes from anonymous people and shit.
Mhm.
Start getting these quote unquote knocks on certain prospects and draft and we already know. I'm pretty sure half of it's bullshit. The other 40% is probably teams trying to jockey, trying to protect picks, and the other 10 is just the other 10% is just people are just fucking bored. All right, so look, half the time, so I take all this, the knocks on prospects with a grain of salt. But one of my biggest pet peeves is the people that are going after Shador as if he's so bad of a prospect that literally your franchise is going to go to hell if you draft this guy, or the quarterback position is so lost or so tainted. Do we understand the guy was mentored by one of the leading guys in the history of football? Tom Brady is a mentor to this guy. Like, how many? First of all, you got to be around exclusive people to even have that reach to get mentored by Tom Brady. All right, so check. All right, Shador has that. All right, he has that. Luckily, by his pops. Cool. Check. Cool. All right. So not only you had that. All right. We also can't ignore the fact that you gain knowledge from certain people. Who better to gain knowledge as a prospect in high school and college to learn from Tom Brady? And this is
on top of that, his own father, right? Like his own father is the greatest ever at his position.
Yes.
Like, you have 2 Hall of Famers in your corner. And the thing that pisses me off the most about it is, and I get there are differences between Shador and Arch Manning, right? Arch Manning is a better natural athlete. There's no question about that. But
yeah, I don't think there's no debate.
But the fact that so many people are so willing to give such so high expectations for Arch, and entirely because of his last name. Like, considering the fact that he has less experience, he has less really available tape, and we're already ready to throw away a chance at a quarterback now to potentially get him. Like, yeah, wouldn't it be great if there was somebody with a Hall of Fame pedigree in this year's draft, since that seems to be the only reason you're willing to bet that Arch Manning's going to be a future Hall of Famer based off of so little tape. Like, it's the standards are so different between the two of them. And like, I would love to get Arch Manning next year if we don't get Shador, but I'm not willing to pass up on Shador for him based off of what's not a lot of evidence of him yet. I think it's going to be really good, but we don't know yet.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I think the only thing that I think that's going to kill your squad from getting up that high is the fact that I don't think you guys I don't think you guys are going to be good, but I don't think you're going to be the worst of the NFL. There's other teams that are just way worse than the Giants, and that's going to be the only downfall from you guys to even getting close to Arch Manning. And I don't see your GM, even if he has a job next year, because I think this is his make it or break it season.
Mhm.
I don't even know if you guys are even going to have the GM with the brass or the cojones to even go up to make such a move to do that. Well, because I'm just really just looking at your quarterback situation right now. When you sign Jameis, when you sign Russell, are they long term? No, both more than both of them are. If anything, I can say if anything, looking at the contracts, I would have gave Jameis maybe a 2-year deal and maybe Russell 1.
That is what they did.
Okay, that's what they did. Okay,
Yeah.
because if anything, Jameis, him being the younger guy and less mileage, but has experience, I can use him for either next year being my mentor for my rookie quarterback, or as well B, possibly saving my season this year if Russ doesn't get the job done. And that's the only way that I see your quarterback position going right now. When you got two guys that are veteran, there's no way Shador is sitting behind at QB3. No way. I can't.
I totally agree, and that's how I felt first, because I was fine with them taking Winston, because Winston is good for basically two things. He can either be the mentor / backup, or he can be how you tank to get a quarterback next year if you need to. Wilson is enough of an improvement above Winston that he's that unfortunate position of a 7-win team that we can't afford to be. So I think that if we can't get Shador this year, first of all, and I also want to talk about the coaching situation and the Joe Shane situation, because I think it was a huge mistake for John Mara to make it publicly clear that this year they're fighting for their jobs, because you just don't do that, because you know what happens. You're incentivizing them to make short-term decisions, not long-term decisions. You're telling them you have to win now, and you're not in a position to win now. You're in a position to just win more games, and that's not a long-term strategy. Imagine if the Lions had done that instead of building gradually through the draft like they did.
No. First of all, if they would have had that same strategy, and I can't really prove this, I think Dan Campbell would have probably been gone after 2-3 years, because they would. When you put coaches and GMs under such a hey, get it done or else you're fired, that type of pressure, you're like, damn. Well, hell.
Yeah. I think Joe Shane should have gone. I think he should have just been fired. But if you're not going to fire him, you have to give him time to make a long-term strategy. You have to do one or the other.
I'm with you. But the fact that they didn't fire him, you kind of have to suck it up and give him time and just deal with it. Because my thing is you put him under this type of pressure, and it's so many already holes that need to get filled. You can't fill them all in one season. It's impossible.
I like some of the moves that they did make this season, getting Paulson Adebo and Javon Holland. I think the secondary is going to be much better than it was because of that, with the D line already being good. And this is my strategy. If we can't get Shador Sanders, which it seems the Wilson signing may be writing on the wall, so let's say Ward goes 1 and Sanders goes 2, we could trade back maybe with the Jaguars, who I think would absolutely love to trade up to get Travis Hunter. They have the picks, and he fills both of their main needs at secondary, which was the worst pass defense last year, and a pass catcher. We trade back, get a first next year, and then we can get Mason Graham still. Mason Graham, put him next to Dex for the run defense that we need to improve. I think if we can't get a quarterback, that's got to be the move. I don't want us to just take a player for now.
Just for no. Well, don't waste a pick, you know. But I honestly think I don't hate your strategy. Here's the part of your strategy I'm a nitpick.
Mhm.
Why would the hell would you let somebody get Travis Hunter when he's right there for you?
Because we can still get another blue chip player at a position that's more of a need to us, and we can further secure insurance for a quarterback next year. Travis Hunter's not going to, he's going to improve the team, but he's not going to turn us into a contender.
Fair?
Only a quarterback can do that.
Fair.
Yeah, like you can look at like Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is a generational tight end talent. Did it make the Raiders better? No,
they still
you need a quarterback to do that. Yeah,
No. Fair point. No, that's the only reason why I formulate that question for you is because I'm looking at it, and obviously I'm pretty sure you looked at it too. If you look at the combo of him and Neighbors on offense, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think if you draft Travis Hunter, he automatically comes your number 2 wide receiver just getting drafted, and he's probably your number 1 corner just getting drafted.
I agree with that. I would probably say the same. And that's kind of the thing, right? Because taking someone like Travis Hunter is such a weird situation as a coach. Like, what exactly do you do with him? Do you
I just think you put him on the field. No.
Yeah, well, you put him on the field, of course, but like, do you give him reps at both? Do you give him majority reps at one versus the other? Maybe it depends on your team's situation, because you don't want to get him too tired to play both, and that's something you have to be concerned about.
You just said it right there. Situation.
Mm-hmm.
I put Travis Hunter on the field for situation plays. Now, I do put him on plays every now and then just to keep him in rhythm, keep him fluid, keep him, warm, keep him in the flow of game. Cool. But what I'm saying is, if I need a crucial first down, it's third and 5. I need that perfect slant. I know who to go to. All right. That's a situation where I need to have him on the field. I need him on 3rd and 5 on the defense to lock down Jamar Chase. I'm not obviously I don't know how the matchup would go because I never seen Travis Hunter against Jamar Chase.
He's very slight, and I think that would be a concern there. He's very thin. Jamar Chase is very big and very physical.
Yeah, he is. But what I'm saying is obviously Travis Hunter is very talented on both sides of the football. Yeah. Situationally, I gotta put him on those situations. I'll live and die with him getting burned by Jamar Chase and knowing that just by drafting him, he's my best corner. Then by all means, Jamar Chase burned him. It is what it is. I'll live and die by it. But
Travis Hunter's still locking down like 90% of wide receivers. Yeah, exactly. Like your Jamar Chases and your Justin Jeffersons.
It is.
They're gonna get him, but they're gonna get almost anybody.
Yeah. So like I'll live and die with that chance and that probability. What I'm saying is just that when you have a unique individual like him just sitting right there, I just think that's hard to pass up. Now your strategy is not. I didn't see any flaws in it. I think it's very sound.
Mm-hmm.
It makes perfect sense, especially when you have so many situations you got to feel at one time when your job is on the line. You need to get the draft picks, get them.
Yeah. I also think that it would be an easier sell for Joe Schoen and Dayball if they don't make Mara happy based off the results this year to be like, look, we couldn't get our quarterback this year, but we secured 2 firsts for next year. We're definitely going to.
I set you up.
So maybe Mara was going to be like, well, I mean, I have to see how this goes because you put us in a position to get a quarterback. I don't want to change everything right now.
Bingo. Hey, great point. You can either extend the life of your job just by setting yourself up, or you go ahead and actually get the extension by not only setting the team up, but actually winning some damn football games. So you actually, if Shane and Dayball do it right, they can probably extend some life of their job in New York if they actually kind of listen to this damn podcast real quick, help our views, and actually listen to your strategy. That was actually pretty sound.
Yeah, I think the Jaguars would be willing to do it, right? Like again, like you pointed out, generational talent. They're already secure at quarterback, or they think they are. So
I'm glad. I'm so glad you said, because I was like, wait, no. In their minds, they're secure.
yeah, they have him under contract. They're not switching up next year.
No.
That's
They
the point.
paid him. They already paid
Yeah,
him. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So they're not in a position where they need to make those same kind of decisions. And again, their two biggest needs. So I think it makes perfect sense for them. I think they'd be willing to do it. And also, it's not like we're getting a bum, right? We'd be getting Mason Graham, because obviously the Patriots, if you have the top two quarterbacks, then you have Travis Hunter. Abdul Carter's obviously going next because he's the last of those top four. And then
That's it.
we get Mason Graham right there. We had the 31st ranked rushing defense. He would immediately fix that. You put him next to Dex, you have possibly the best interior duo in the league already.
Yeah. And that's just making that move right there. And you guys wouldn't move out the top 10, so you would still get pretty much a pick of the litter of what you really want. And the Jaguars really need it. Obviously, Christian Kirk no longer there.
Yep. It's Brian Thomas Jr. and then a graveyard after that. Gabe Davis is your second best receiver. You can't have that.
He just didn't work.
Who do you want the Chiefs to take in the draft? We're talking so much about the Giants. Let's talk about your Chiefs for a second. What, left tackle after the Super Bowl?
Well, I was going to say left tackle, but the only problem is when you're playing postseason ball so much, you're not nowhere close to a solid pick to even get a franchise left tackle. Franchise left tackles are gone by the 15th pick. So, if that.
I think this is I would say that there's a good chance of that happening, right? A lot of teams do need left tackles. This is a decently deep left tackle class, right? Like, you're not going to be getting Will Campbell or Armand Membu, but you could get a Josh Connerly at that pick. You could get an Ariante Ursary at that pick, and I would think those would be big upgrades.
Well, yeah, I don't hate your take. Now, my only thing is that they've already kind of, with free agency, they went ahead and threw some money at Trent Williams backup.
Okay. Right. How do you feel about him?
It's TBD. I don't see the film I've seen of him. It looks good, but it's not enough. It's not enough sample size. 12 games over the last, I think, 4 years that he's been in the league. I mean, I get it. He's sitting behind Trent Williams. He's not going to get a lot of playing time. So it's kind of hard to. I mean, the only PT that he's really gotten is because either Trent was even holding out or he was injured. So, yeah.
How do you feel about them after the Super Bowl was cost by their O-line giving away Joe Thuney for, what was it, a fourth, a fifth?
I don't. Well, I don't hate it. And here's why I don't hate it, because Joe Thuney was 32, getting up there in age. He probably maybe at best 2 to 3 prime years left, at least years left in him. And then you look at the price tag you were going to pay for him. The Chiefs I think they were under the mindset of saying, hey, we could plug anybody at left guard. And yeah, he is a Pro Bowler. And we thank him for what he did for, going out there at left tackle. Thank you for saving our season and going out there at left tackle, because he did. I don't think if he makes that move to going from left guard to left tackle, I think there's a different scenario. Chiefs probably don't make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I also think that he unfairly to him got a lot of. I think that the reason why he went for so low in part was because he's unfairly being blamed for the fact that he's not really a tackle, and so he can only do so much. Like, it's as if it's his fault that you didn't have a left tackle.
And that's what drives me crazy. I'm like, I need people to understand. Like, I don't know what people were thinking were going to happen at some point in time during that run, whether it was regular season or postseason. He's a left guard. If you put him against elite pass rushers, he was going to get exposed regardless. That's not his fault.
It's not his fault. And that's why I really want, since we're talking about the draft, I really think that a great move, if you're going for a guard, is to get a guard that also has tackle experience. I'm really looking for the second round for the Giants to get a Grace Abel, to get a Donovan Jackson, because if you're going to get a guard and you can get a guard that could step in and tackle if Andrew Thomas goes down,
Yeah.
that's a great situation to be in. And if you, I think that would have been, if, obviously, hindsight's 2020, but if the Chiefs had given their guards tackle reps, that would have been great for a situation like that. You never know something like that's going to happen. It's not their fault, of course, but
or how about this? And I know a lot of people don't know this because they're not Chiefs fans. They don't aren't tapped in or follow the Chiefs as obsessively like I do. So when you sign DJ Humphries, who was 30 years old, has a Pro Bowl in his history, played the last week of the season, you rested Joe Tooney. My thing is I thought that's what you signed him for. Was to use him at left tackle. You didn't use him at all in the postseason run.
Yeah, that's a weird decision.
You had time to give him the reps. And not only that, okay, so say you have Joe Tooney that goes through the playoff run leading up to the Super Bowl. You still got 2 weeks. I didn't see any information. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything of DJ Humphries not being able to play. So my thing is, if you got 2 weeks, this was almost similar to when they got to beat down in Tampa Bay. You had 2 weeks to get your offensive line prepared. And I get it. This is now 2 years of, 2 Super Bowls that you had O-line injuries. Okay. But you got 2 weeks to get ready for it. Figure something out.
Yeah, facts. That would have been much better than just kicking their top guard to tackle.
And that's why they traded him. Honestly, Randy, the reason why they traded him is because they said we can plug anybody at left guard. We need a left tackle. His value or his cap is too high because he can't. Obviously, we see the result we're going to get with him. We see the ceiling we have with him at left tackle. That's why you trade him. So I didn't hate the trade. I didn't.
Okay.
It made perfect sense. It's
That
just
makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
It's the question mark of signing Trent Williams back up that I'm more concerned about, is because you gave him almost 30 guaranteed.
I think you made a lot of good points as far as defending the trade. Do you think that they could have gotten more though for him? Arguably the best guard in the NFL up to this point.
Best guard in NFL, yeah.
Arguably.
But the problem is, like we said a second ago, it's not his fault. When you get put on that stage at left tackle, they don't care if you are an elite left guard. They just saw what happened to you in the Super Bowl, bro. I think that killed his value. I think that absolutely killed his value. To a point where you might be happy that you got a fourth.
That's fucked up, right? Because he's being punished essentially for volunteering to help try to save the O-line.
That's business, bro.
It's true.
That's business, bro. That is business. That is absolutely business in the NFL. That's how they get down. It's been a crazy offseason. You know what team I don't envy? I don't envy being a fan of the Cleveland Browns. I have no idea what the hell you would do at your quarterback position, because I don't think I don't think he's going to play at all next year because he ruptured his Achilles again or some shit. So,
and I heard that it's possible that he may have been not wearing whatever the ankle brace he was supposed to be wearing, and he put up some Instagram photo. And the Browns might be trying to litigate that to get out of the contract. I don't know what's going on with that. A Browns fan.
Yes, you would. Randy. Yeah. Randy, first of all, after all we just stuck by your side for, and what we gave up, and the contract we gave you, and what we have gotten back from you, I would litigate, and I would try to litigate every cent that I tried to get back and just go ahead and terminate this shit.
I'd bring those 26 women back and try to get them, try to see if they could get me out of the contract. You're seize his assets, and those assets mean your rights under the contract.
Bro, that's that situation right there in Cleveland, bro.
It's bad. And since we're talking about their moves, what did you think? Because I have some strong opinions on them giving Myles Garrett all of that money, given their situation.
That's a money grab. Oh, Miles.
Uh-huh.
Miles. See, okay,
Wants
so
to win, Miles.
yes. And I'm glad you brought this because I think I need to get this off my chest real quick, and we need to have this conversation. And we'll athletes, if you say you want to win, if you say that, please make sure that any action after you say that reflects those same words. Taking that type of money in Cleveland, Ohio, with the Cleveland Browns, with all the problems they got on that football team, that does not reflect winning mentality.
No,
If you just want to say, hey, you motherfuckers is getting away, pay me more, just say that. Just tell them.
Mm-hmm. And also from the Browns' perspective, right? Because like I get it. Like, you know, at the end of the day, is anyone going to say no to 40 million? No. But
no.
I think it was only 40 million. It might have been even higher. But if you're the Browns and you have as many holes as you have on your team, and you have so much money put into your quarterback who's not there, and you're going to need to find another quarterback, pay them additionally to get them under center, does it make a lot of sense to take basically the rest of your money and give it to one other player? I think they should have traded him. Like, Myles Garrett's great. He's one of the best non-quarterbacks in the NFL. But he has so much trade value, and you have so many holes. You need to spread that money around to more than one person. Clearly, having him on the team didn't stop you from being the second overall pick this year.
Yeah. Well, there was only two options. It was either trade them or sign them, and that was the only options. Because he wasn't going to hold out, or because he already had still under contract, and you don't miss the type of money that he was already making just because you want more money because everybody else on your position is getting paid and you want to be the highest. I get it. You want to be the highest in your position because you are the best. Fine, cool. But look, he wasn't going to hold out. You don't miss that type of money, period. Trade wise, man,
think about the haul they would have gotten for Myles Garrett in his prime. He's still in his mid-20s, right?
Late 20s. I think he's 28, 29. So he's right there. But still,
he's still good on that, yeah.
But just his physical makeup of his body, he can go for at least another 6-7 years. So,
and then you could still get you could still get Abdul Carter in the draft, right? You can immediately put a cheaper blue chip talent at his position.
Side. Yeah, and put him right on the other side and probably help free him up. Or if not, put him right next to him. Free him.
What I'm saying is, like, if you did trade him to get like a haul of a bunch of assets, you could still get Abdul Carter in the draft, who would be much cheaper and who's also a blue chip.
Oh yeah.
Potential edge child. Yeah,
I got you. Yeah, no. Yeah, especially if you're sitting there right at 2, because who's going 1, so you go ahead. You don't have to move. And he's sitting right there for you. And like you said, the haul you would get, because you definitely get multiple ones. I think you would get from Myles Garrett.
Absolutely. And also, you don't have to necessarily you don't have to take Shedeur Sanders too. Like, I get you need a quarterback, but you already have. They're in the one position where I would say maybe don't, because they have so much money in the quarterback room already.
That's what I was going to say. It's so much money invested already in your quarterback room. That is the where you don't spend the money at, and you actually go ahead and you build the rest of your team and plug those holes that possibly could have gotten filled if you traded Myles Garrett. But here you are, $40 million a year later, hanging in like a quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. And like, honestly, this would be a tank situation, right? This is the situation where you should be looking to just stay at the top of the draft as long as you can until you can finally get out of that Watson contract, and then you go all out with all the assets you've accumulated, because you're not going to do anything with all that money in there if Watson either doesn't play or plays like ass.
If you're Deshaun Watson, I wouldn't even hurry to even come back. For what?
It's guaranteed. It's guaranteed.
Guaranteed. And until further notice, I'm not in no rush to come back. For what? Y'all signed that contract with me. I didn't ask for this. Y'all could have said no.
Yeah, they absolutely should have. You know what? Some other we'll talk about some other teams off seasons. You know, another team that I want to talk about, the Seahawks. How do you feel about the Seahawks off season?
Very interesting. Lockett, you let him walk. Trade Metcalf. I love Jackson Smith-Njigba, but didn't you take his quarterback away? What exactly do you? I don't. Do you talking about mystery? And you talking about a question mark, as in what the hell are they going to be? Because that's kind of what they were this past season.
That's exactly how I feel about it. It seems like half of the decisions are win now decisions, and the other half are rebuild decisions, and it's very strange. I
have no idea where they're going. It's kind of like it's literally it's literally one of those situations where like I have no idea what the hell I'm going to get from this situation. This is almost like watching the R-Truth segment. It's like, yo, this is either going to be funny as hell or this is going to be just hey, man, get off, bro. What the
And so since we didn't really get a chance to talk a lot during the season, right? I think Sam Darnold is a trap. I think that whichever team was going to end up taking them was falling for a trap, and the Seahawks were the ones that fell for the trap. Now
they don't have Kevin O'Connell.
They don't have Kevin O'Connell, and that's the funniest thing about this is Sam Darnold has only worked in one team's system, and it was a team that had arguably the most elite weapons core, at least like one of the top 3 in the entire NFL, and a great coach. Pete Carroll's not in Seattle anymore.
No.
And you had a great weapons core, and then you gave away 2 of them.
You just gave it away.
You had the situation he needed, and you gave it away. And also, what was one of Sam Darnold's other downfalls? The lack of offensive guard help on the Vikings roster. That was a big thing, that he kept getting rushed, and then he started seeing ghosts again. Guess who has arguably the worst O-line in the NFL? Seattle.
They've been infamous for having one of the worst offensive lines. And the crazy thing about it, Randy, the thing about it is that Kevin O'Connell and I guess Kyle Shanahan almost runs similar styles of offense, and that's where you kind of actually seen Sam Darnold actually have success. You don't have to coach in Seattle. What do you think is going to happen when San Fran's get a hold? Seattle's about to get obliterated twice by San Francisco. You don't think Kyle Shanahan knows how to pick apart Sam Darnold?
And I could say that I can understand switching Geno to Sam Darnold, right? Because Geno and Sam Darnold are in a lot of ways basically the same player, right? Like career journeymans who rose to become quality starters as a result of a great head coach and a great receiving core, right? Like they both basically have the same story, but Geno refused the contract that he was offered and Sam didn't. So you're just like, you're taking a cheaper Geno Smith essentially. And that's fine. If you have the system around him for him to work, you had it, and then you gave 2 of them away, and you brought in Cooper Kupp, who's very old and might play 5 games. Maybe they'll take a top wide receiver in the draft. Maybe they'll take a Matthew Golden. Maybe they'll take a Luther Bird and Emeka Ibuka. I don't think Ted McMillan's going to be up there, but the other 3 might be.
Luther Burton, well, I'm a big fan of, obviously, Mizzou. So shout out to my guy, MIZZOU. So look, they're going to have to get a wide receiver. I mean, you say what you want. I know Tyler Lockett was getting up there in age, still a solid possession receiver. Even DK Metcalf saw he was like, yo, I don't know why they treated bro like this. Like I saw an interview where DK Metcalf, he said, that's the reason why I asked for the trade. I saw how he was treating my boy. Like, if you're treating him that way and he's putting up the numbers that he's doing, how the hell you going to do? Well, obviously you're going to do the same to me. He's writing on the wall and was like, "Well, let me get out of here before you do it to me."
And also, how are you going to complain about your wide receivers' age and then bring in Cooper Kupp? Like, do you care about the age or not? DK and Lockett both have been more productive than Kupp has been in the past like couple of years.
Yeah, and that's not. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh, nah, it's Cooper." No, if you watch what's been going on, Cooper Kupp is still Cooper Kupp, but Cooper Kupp can't be Cooper Kupp when he's on the sideline, and that's where he's been for the most part for the last 2 years.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp is living off of his Triple Crown 2021 like Super Bowl MVP season and that reputation that came along with it. And he's still a great player when he's on the field, but he's clearly declining. He's not what he was that basically 1 year. And he's not around a lot, like you said. So I don't understand why you're worried if you're going to complain about age and then bring in an older wide receiver.
Seattle kind of baffled me for sure. I was slightly confused on Texans trading away Jeremy Tunsil.
That's another bad one, yeah.
Because he had, I think, last time I checked, I think he had like maybe 2 years left on his contract. He's your left tackle. He was your best offensive tackle that you had, or best offensive lineman period that you had on the line. And I get it, you got to fix other problems, but why would you make another problem when he was the best piece on? They must know something that we don't. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got from it. Like, there's a possibility they know something we don't, and that's what happened. And the Texans are in a position, I think, because last year their offensive line was their problem. They didn't really have any other problems. Their defense was phenomenal. Defensive line and secondary both phenomenal. They also got CJ Gardner-Johnson, so it's going to be the secondary is going to be even better next year. They had a great wide receiving core, although there were injuries, but the talent was there and the depth was there. And then CJ Stroud had a bit of a sophomore slump, but that was obviously a lot because of the O-line.
Now, I will say this, Randy. I will say this. Visually, he had a sophomore slump. Numbers wise, you're not too far off from his rookie season. And if people really look at his numbers, and then if you visually like, damn, what was the difference? They had the same record. You know what I'm saying? So they pretty much got just the same as far as they did playoff wise as they did last year.
Yeah.
I
agree. I totally agree. I think it looked worse because of the offensive line.
That's what it is. It looked worse because damn, CJ is running for his life. Like the man is running. He like, somebody get the man some help. Then you look at, he kept having injuries at the wide receiver position, and you look at, me personally, I give CJ actually more credit for this year than his rookie season, because when he's dealing with bad O-line, lost Nico Collins for a good portion, lost Tank Dell again for a good portion, and lost him for the playoff push. And you saw that him and Tank Dell was actually starting to cook, man, and they were starting to cook.
Yep.
I think he felt more adversity this year than he did last year, and for him to pretty much come up with the same result as he did his rookie, visually, yes, it looked worse just because he was getting his head kicked in like every week. So
I think that's a good point. I think that it's tough to say, right? Because the year before he saved arguably the worst franchise in the NFL.
They were a dumpster fire.
They were a dumpster fire. Obviously, bringing in Will Johnson, bringing in Derek Stingley, bringing in the coach, what's his name? I'm blanking. D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah.
Obviously, all those things also help. But CJ Stroud was, if not the biggest, equal in terms of elevating them. And then everything that you said about this year, right? Like, CJ Stroud has done a lot, and you need to make sure you protect him, because that man is an incredible asset. I honestly think, because before the free agency started, when I was doing mock drafts for like what teams should be doing what, the Bears, I was like, take O-line with your first 3 picks. I don't care if the guard pick might be a reach. Just focus so much on that.
Yeah.
Now that they've gotten Joe Tooney, Jonah Jackson, they don't necessarily need to do that now. The Texans need to do that now.
Oh, well,
all your picks there, because everything else is basically good. You just got a wide. You lost Diggs and Tank Dell, but you got another wide receiver too next to Nico.
yeah.
You know, you still have Stroud. Defense is all great. Just turbo blast the O line through the draft if you have to.
Yeah, they're gonna have to, because I love CJ Stroud. He's good for the league when he's playing well. He's good for the Raiders. Obviously, Texans fans will love the fact that when he's playing well and he's upright, it just makes sense. Look, I don't care how great you are. We saw it in the Super Bowl. Your name can be Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. You can be Troy Aikman, John Elway. It don't matter what the hell, how great in stature your name is at quarterback. If you ain't got no protection, your ass is grass. Period.
Yeah. It's the second most important thing next to the quarterback, I think, 100%. Everything falls apart if you don't have that.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. I can make an argument that I would say trenches should be prioritized number 1 over quarterback, but that's for another conversation for another day. We're already 5 minutes over, but we're gonna do a little bit overtime because hell, I haven't done a late night show in 4 months, so let's kind of
let's do it. This will be a special.
Yeah.
Episode.
No, it's a special episode, and knowing me, since you got me returning, I'll probably just bring it back Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. Now, damn you, Randy.
What are some off seasons that we talked about a lot of bad ones? What are some good off seasons that you've been pretty impressed with?
Man, to be honest, nothing's kind of really like jumped out of me, but I kind of really love what the Washington Commanders kind of actually been doing.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. Say what you want, but some of the additions and some of the people that they didn't allow to leave, this is an underrated one. The fact that they got Bobby Wagner to come back.
Yeah.
Because we saw the production that he did. He still racked up 100+ tackles. The guy looked like he found the fountain of youth. He's going to help bring the emotional energy to that locker room. They fed into it. It obviously worked. They got to the NFC Championship for a reason, and they added more than they lost. I think the Washington Commanders might mess around and I'm not trying to jump out there, but Philadelphia Eagles, they gonna give you a little run for that crown. They gonna give you a run for that crown.
I agree. I think they've had one of the better off seasons. I do still think that they are relying too much on older players. I do think that's eventually going to come to hurt them. I get that Bobby Wagner is still very good, but how much longer is that going to last? Marshawn Lattimore is not what he once was. Zach Ertz isn't what he once was. Yeah. You brought in Debo and you got him for cheap, which is cool. Dirt cheap, but you got him dirt cheap for a reason because he's not what he once was either. So you're relying on Jaden Daniels a lot to carry a lot of players that are past their prime. It worked last year. I'm just not sure how much longer it's going to work. It might even work this year, but that's not a long-term plan. You got to get younger, not older.
I think everything you said is so accurate as hell because I think this is all the moves that they made, especially with the Debo situation, and they got 2 years with him before they have to make a decision on his contract. All this stuff is really short term. All of it. This is within a 2-year time frame that all this needs to come together and make something happen. Because you're right, they're getting older, and then it's going to. Not only that, you're talking about money after that. Nobody. I'm sorry, I love Debo, but in 2 years he'll be 30, 31. I can't pay you that wide receiver market. I'm sorry, because if you really look at his production wise in San Francisco, his snaps and his production is low because you saw how many weapons was on that offense between him, I.O.W, Kittle, McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I understand your production not being crazy.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is you banged up a lot, bro. And I don't even need you a lot. Not on San Francisco. I didn't need you a lot.
Right.
And
Yeah,
you're
he was banged up a lot, and even when he was on the field, he wasn't playing as well as he had a couple of years ago. Like he's clearly been declining. That's why they gave him away so cheaply. And also I have to make my apologies because I said that they are relying too much on Jaden Daniels. They're relying on too much on Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin. Need to give him his credit too. But it's really those two players are kind of carrying the entire team, and they did an amazing job of that.
Man.
I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to do that.
That's why I think, to your point, all these moves are just so short term and temporary. They're trying to catch the lightning in the bottle, because in these 2 years, then you're already talking about making moves financially to start making way for Jaden Daniels extension. So at that point, it's either we already got the team, or we're gonna have to make some decisions because we got to pay our quarterback. Because
exactly,
I mean, that's what it is. And so that's how I see it going down for Washington right now. And I mean, it can either be make it or break it. We'll see what happens.
That actually segues into three off seasons that I want to highlight as my gold star off seasons. The Bears, the Vikings, and the Broncos, I think, have all had a very good offseason as well. And guess what all three of them have in common? They're running rookie quarterbacks on rookie deals. And that makes so much of a difference. They have so much money to spend. The Bears fixing their O-line, the exact thing that they needed to fix. Ben Johnson doing the thing that you knew he was going to do, which is the right thing, because he knows how to build an O-line. He did an amazing job in Detroit.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, the Vikings getting Javon Hargrave. They got Will Fries, which I'm still mad about. They got, who else did they get? They got a few top players.
They went trenches. They went trench heavy. Which is smart. And then
Jonathan Allen was the other one.
Yes. Oh, that was huge.
Yeah, that's a good interior duo that you just made.
Yes, that was huge. I was actually surprised that Washington didn't even try to. I don't know the backstory of it, but I'm surprised they let him actually leave the building. But hey, and then what was that last team that you had mentioned?
Broncos. Yeah, they got Dre Greenlaw. They got Hufanga in the back. They got Evan Ingram, who's he's Evan Ingram. He's okay, but like they needed an improvement at pass catcher, and he can be that for sure. I think that this really does free them to focus a lot on pass catching in the draft and getting a running back, because their defense is good, their offensive line is good, and their quarterback is good, and he's cheap. So you know exactly what you need to focus a lot on, and that's pass catchers and a running back.
You know what helped them out this offseason was the fact that Bo Nix actually panned out for them in that rookie season.
And that's why it pisses me off when people talk about reaching for quarterbacks, because I remember everyone saying that last year. Everyone was like, Penix and Nix don't deserve to be picked in the first round. I don't care that you need a quarterback. And
it's the coaching. Now, I do caveat that it has to be the right coaching. As much as I can't stand Sean Payton, for some reason it worked out with him and Bo Nix. I can't explain it. I don't like it.
Sean Payton's a genius. Sean Payton is a genius. I think he should have won coach of the year last year.
Randy, yes, football wise he is. I just think he's a D-bag.
Is it maybe because he's the coach of a team in your division, a rival by chance?
No. Oh no. I just think that he
is a D-bag. he is a D-bag. No, I'm playing. I know.
I just think he's just an honest D-bag, and he won't admit to it, but he needs to own up to a little bit more of that bounty gate than he needs to.
Yes.
Come on.
I agree. But
you're the head coach. You know what the hell is going on in your house, bro. Come on.
Yeah. No, of course, and also knowing what we know about him, I wouldn't have put it past him for sure.
Yeah.
But for I mean, think like not even just Bo Nix. Think about the entire team. The team was ranked by PFF last year. If you follow them, I don't know if you do, but
They
were
overachieved.
ranked. Yeah, they were ranked as the worst offense in the NFL on paper. They
Yeah,
only
they
had
over.
they had one first round pick other than Bo Nix, and it was Patrick Surtain. And
Mhm.
they had the best defense in the NFL and the
Yeah.
best O line in the NFL. That's Sean Payton. That's why I think he really should have won Coach of the Year. Because, like, yeah, Kevin O'Connell did amazing work with Sam Darnold, but it's easier when you also have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, and then
Yeah.
you have Brian Flores fixing your defense.
Yeah. It makes it a lot easier for you. So
Mm-hmm.
no.
Yeah.
And please don't mention Brian Flores. I'm so irritated. He did not get a coaching job this year.
I'm pissed about it too. I've been pissed about him not getting a coaching job. The
That's
Giants wouldn't have been in this position if we'd given him that coaching job.
I know we weren't supposed to talk about it. I just think that's crazy. How does this man not get a head coach? Not even. I don't even know if did he even get interviewed?
I don't think he did. And I mean, like we both know what it is, right? Like it's the same reason Eric Bieniemy hasn't gotten a head coaching job.
We know what it is. I'm just saying, like this is out. Like
it's outrageous. Like he was the best defensive coordinator last year. He turned Andrew Van Ginkel into a star.
Man, Brian Flores got that Minnesota defense playing damn good football the last 2 years. That is the only reason for me. Probably half the reason why they got half the success on why they've gotten there.
100%. And if you remember, 2022. They were the worst defense in the NFL. Brian Flores steps in, and they're one of the best.
And they fixed it immediately.
They were above average last year, and then the next year they were elite.
And hey, I know it's a cold game in this NFL, but damn, man.
And that's after losing Danielle Hunter. They became elite. They lost their best defensive player, and everybody else stepped up because of the coaching.
Look, and I get it. They did draft well in some of those positions in, defensively.
Mm-hmm.
I look,
but
man.
He's got to develop those guys, and he did.
Yeah. No, coaching. And look, coaching matters. We talk about it with Bo Nix and Sean Payton, and we talk about the defense with Brian Flores, and that's why look. If you're going to go get your quarterback, go get him. But you better make sure that him and your coaching staff are going to jive and they're going to be able to be on the same page.
Yeah, and realistically, there's no way anybody can look at that Brian Flores performance and not want to give him a head coaching job, except for the thing that we know it is. And it's the same thing with Eric Bieniemy. The amount of bums that have kept head coaching jobs for years is nuts, considering how many great coordinators could be in that position that aren't. Like Brandon Staley had a job for years. Arthur Smith had a job. Nathaniel Hackett got a head coaching job. Like, it's ridiculous.
No, look, you never get any argument from me, man. I think you're 100% right on all those points. It's a shame. Let's take 10 minutes real quick. And NBA, man. How you feeling about your Knicks? I know we had the conversation a few months back about the trade with Karl Anthony Towns and whatnot. And how do you think it's panned out for the Knicks so far, man?
Love it. It's I love it with a bit of a caveat. So first of all, the Knicks have been amazing. They've been awesome. They are the reason why I get to enjoy sports since football has been making that very hard. The basketball has been saving that. Jalen Brunson looks like a star. Cat looks like a star. Both of which are like fringe potential MVP ladder people. Like, it's great. The one thing that I was concerned about, and that has absolutely come true, is when you make a lot of trades where you give depth in exchange for a star, eventually, if you keep doing that, you run out of depth.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to have a very deep bench, and now we don't anymore. And there's a reason why Tibbs is playing everybody like 40 something minutes. Why Brunson?
Yeah, come on. You know that was his calling card before that, dog.
No, you're right. Of course, I agree. But I think that let me rephrase that. It's kind of circular because I think that was a big reason why he made those decisions, because he has the idea of, I'm just going to play my starters the entire game, basically. So the bench pieces don't really matter because he plays them for like 5 minutes. So yeah, right. So some of our bench players have stepped up. Campaign has looked pretty good. Deuce McBride is always there for some good shots when necessary. You know, like Precious Achua, who I thought was a bum last year, has been playing much better than he ever had been. You know, so the bench pieces are stepping up, but that was a concern of mine. If we were going to make all of those decisions, maybe we should have only made 2 of them. But I definitely think that as long as Brunson plays healthy, because I know that he was just approved for basketball related activities or whatever, so he's coming back soon. If we get the starting lineup without a series of unfortunate injuries like we had last year for some team who doesn't deserve it to beat our backup squad, then I think we can make a serious run. I mean, it's the Celtics, the Cavs, and the Knicks, basically. Like, those are the 3 East teams to look for. So
yeah,
we could easily make the Eastern Conference Finals with this squad.
no doubt. Hey, no doubt. Hey, it's damn sure possible, man. It damn sure is possible, man. It's always good to see a big market team like the Knicks. You know, well, they already got their playoff position already locked. It's just based on seeding, the 3rd seed as they are right now.
And we're playing the Pistons, and that, you know, we'll get past the Pistons.
Hey, you should, but what I will say is, you know, the fact that the Pistons are even in playoff contentions is like the miracle of all miracles right now, because they've been so trash for the last few years.
True.
Are in this position, I got to give credit to the Pistons, man. Like, goodness gracious, like,
absolutely. Cade Cunningham has been very good for them.
No doubt. I'm pretty sure Pistons fans are excited. They're probably like, damn, boy, we've been waiting for this for a hot ass minute that we're over 500.
Did you see the fight that they got into with our former shooting guard?
I love it. Hey, man. Hey, you know, hey, I just say it like this, man. Ain't nothing wrong with a little scrap in some sports, man. It's competition, man.
I want more of it.
Yes, thank you.
I want it to come back. Like, unleash Draymond Green, unleash Dylan Brooks. Like, tell them, like, look, just do whatever you want, right? Like, the sport used to be that way, and the NBA has made it so soft with all their hand checking rules and they're like, oh, you bumped into me rules, and like, just bring this shit back. Like, everybody wants this. We know everyone wants it, and the players want it too.
I'll put it to you this way, Randy. If they can let them fight in NHL, y'all can find a way to let them fight in all the other sports, bro.
Absolutely.
You can find a way to let them scrap just for a quick little minute and then keep it moving. They just let them hash out their little disagreement and keep it moving. You know, pow, pow, pow.
Yeah. We can have a penalty box in MSG. Well, we do, but on the Knicks floor, we can have a penalty box.
I'm with it. I'm just saying, man, we can find a way to make this work. There, you know, somebody got a little disagreement on the football field, the basketball court, the baseball diamond, you know, the tennis court. You know, let them scrap for a little,
you
know,
golf outings.
Hey, you know, I hit you with this club. No, man. I tee off on you. What's good?
And if we did that in the NFL, think about some of the really fun fights we'd get. Derrick Henry, DK Metcalf. Like, we'd get some fun people. Vita Vea. I want to see Dex Lawrence fight.
You know what's crazy? Seattle, why did y'all trade DK Metcalf to Pittsburgh, have him and George Pickens as the All-American crash out team on the one? That's crazy. You know how many crash out moments we're gonna get all season from them two alone? Just from them two.
they're both just gonna get pissed and run off to the sidelines like mid-game, like about half of the season.
Dog, if I'm a DB, I ain't saying nothing to none of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I ain't got time for y'all crashing out on me because we gonna scrap for real.
It's gonna be confusing for whoever their quarterback ends up being to be like, well, both of them are complaining about not getting enough targets. So what do I do? who do I give them to?
Yeah. Who am I scared of the most? That's who I throw the ball to.
Yes, which is gonna be DK, of course.
Yeah, he the bigger one. He the more physical one. Nah, that's crazy, bro.
Also, speaking of the Steelers quarterback situation,
Oh
what do you think?
Gosh.
What do you think they're gonna do?
They're really good. I think they're really good. I think they're gonna do it. I think they're really gonna sign Aaron Rodgers.
That would be very funny. Not for them, but for everyone else, very funny. That is crazy. I just don't get it. Like, why? Like, he's gonna make your team worse. We know that. We just saw it happen to the Jets.
Well, I mean, okay, so that is my initial thought. That is my initial thought. And now that I'm actually thinking about it right now, and yes, this is probably a lot of TAC influenced thought process right now. But what I'm saying is that if I'm really looking at it, I think the Steelers organization is more stable than a Jets organization.
Of course, by a long shot, sure.
I think that factor alone and the stability that I have with Mike Tomlin might be able to. Hey, Aaron, shut up. Now.
Okay, I can see that. I can see Mike Tomlin being like, "No, Aaron, we're not bringing Aaron on the team."
I can really see Mike Tomlin not putting up with none of that Aaron Rodgers bullshit and just tell him, well, because right now he's being patient with him because he's like, yo, it's April, like whatever, you know. But you know, I think when you get closer, like, all right, let's make a decision, and then I think once they make the decision, because my thing is the fact that one, Russell Wilson is no longer there. Two, Justin Fields is no longer there. Okay, so wait, y'all brought back Mason Rudolph? Nah, I know that ain't the answer. So, so my thing is like it's either Aaron Rodgers or you're drafting somebody that you think. But I don't know if you go and draft. Well, we saw they gave up on Kenny Pickett real quick.
I think that's kind of the thing, right? Because just what I was talking about like nobody wants to be a 7-win team. The Steelers have been in that like 7 to, well, not really 7, like 9-10 win team forever, and
they've been
gone, yeah, and it's gone nowhere, right? So I think you have to just take the draft, get a Jackson Dart or a Jalen Milroe. Like you're spending more money on Aaron Rodgers. It's not like you're going all in. He's not going to win you a Super Bowl. Like, and because I have a Steelers fan friend that a coworker that I was talking to, and he was like, dude, like I'm tired of being like an average team, because average teams go nowhere. The Steelers, the Saints, they go nowhere, right? Like there's no hope. It's the same thing every year. Just get the rookie quarterback, even if he sucks. If he sucks, then you have a chance to get a better one, and then you can be a contender. Why just put a Band-Aid on it with Aaron Rodgers? Like, I get that Mike Tomlin they'd be able to handle him better than the Jets, you know, of course, but even then, it's like, what's really the point? And you're spending more money to do it.
I think it would be a mistake to go get him personally. But I can see the reasons why you go ahead and do it, just on the fact that, hey, he's our best option that we have available. Looking at the other options, I mean, because if you go out and look at the quarterback room right now on paper, they ain't doing a damn thing. All right.
Yeah. Honestly, just play Mason Rudolph.
and I get what you're saying. Yes, because I don't want the other shit that comes with Aaron Rodgers. I don't want that all that, because I think there's more that happened in New York that didn't come out. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a point in time that there's going to be more information that comes out about how it was to be with Aaron Rodgers. But regardless, I just think the guy is he's way past his prime to be dealing with all this bullshit. Like, keep it pushing, keep it moving. Do what you want to do. You go eat your mushrooms, drink your ayahuasca, go cave dwelling, and go do that shit, and just go away. On some real shit, Randy. I'm at the point in time in my life where I am okay with an NFL without Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, 100%. The league doesn't need him anymore. This is entirely his own vanity project. All of the elite quarterbacks are younger. They're newer. They are doing different things. Aaron Rodgers was a great quarterback. He's doing what Tom Brady did. He's holding on too long.
It's done, bro. I just think, like, yo, you had your moments. You had all those years in Green Bay that you underachieved with all those Super Bowl caliber teams. You underachieved. Say what you want. You had all the home field advantages. It didn't matter. It didn't amount to nothing. You had all these MVPs. It ain't amount to nothing.
And
Super Bowl, bro.
Exactly. Like, that's the thing. I think he just wants to win another Super Bowl. I don't think he wants to have his entire career having the same amount of Super Bowls as Joe Flacco or Trent Dilfer. I think that he wants to be like, I'm one of the elite inner circle, which we already know he is, but I think he needs to prove that to himself. But it's like, dude, you're in your 40s. It's not gonna happen.
No, you're not going backwards. No.
And any owner would be smart enough to be like, I'm not building my team around an early bird special regular. Like, like that. What's the point of that?
Nah, I know. I'm with you. I just think, like, damn, man, like, it's you had your moment, you had your times. It is what it is. Like, you made your mark, bro. Thank you, Aaron Rodgers, for what you've done for the league. But I'm good, bro. I'm good on you.
Right. And I think he's hurt his legacy a lot by doing all of this shit. I think if he had retired after 2021, like, he would be thought of totally differently than he's going to be now. I don't know how much that matters to him. He's still making millions every year, but it's the same. It's the same thing that Russell Wilson did. It's the same thing that Tom Brady did. Like, you hold on long enough, people's opinion changes of you. Tom Brady got away with it, right? But, I'm still a Tom Brady hater. Tom Brady still has his haters, but I think he turned some people with that last season, and I think that people just gotta know if they do care about their legacy when it's done.
I know when to hold them. When to fold them. Hey, sometimes you want to walk away, and you gotta know when to let that shit go, and know when to run and go. Hey. Nah, it is what it is, man. But hey, man, this has been great, man. No rust. No rust. 4 months off and no rust. That's what we got. Thanks to Randy. More than likely, I'll probably be back here sometime tomorrow and Wednesday.
Well, I'm happy to be back whenever you're talking football, whenever you're talking basketball, whatever, I'll be happy to be back for it.
You know what? I'm going to try to convince you to this is going to be our show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. At some point in time. It don't have to be now. It doesn't have to be now. Some point in time, this will just be our thing. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And we'll just sports, chop it up.
I like it.
We'll find time for that. But hey, you know what it is? Tap in with Randy. Panther on Acid, the audio, if you need some audio needs. All right. Tap in with my guy on Instagram. All right. Y'all know where to find me on Twitter. Until then, y'all know what it is. It's your man Wild Mar. That's my man Randy. Hey, we just had a great impromptu return episode. 435.
Yeah.
We out.
We're gonna
holler at y'all.
We're gonna be the next Pro Football Focus podcast. We're gonna be the next ESPN. We're gonna be the next Stephen A. Smith. We got those.
Whoa. No. Hey. We ain't gonna be doing none of that crap. All right. Hey, we out, y'all. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah. Solid Hill TD, yes, what's up? Yeah, come on. Yeah. I.O.W. Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card Mar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo, let's go. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card Mar.